Hello, greetings and hi. What's up, people? Here we are. We're live. We're hip. We're hype. We're happening. I think. What's going on? We're here tonight. Do the show. Doing it live. No, we're not. And it's not tonight. It's today. Well, I keep saying tonight. It's tonight somewhere. And I'm trying to be more globally universal. We are trying to be more globally universal. Somewhere in the world it's night. Somewhere in the world it's day. Somewhere in the world nobody's awake. But hey, we're here. We're doing a show. How y'all doing? Ukraine, come on, guys. Hang in there. The world hates Russia right about now. Or at least the world hates Putin right about now. Russia, you people, for the most part, you people, you're okay. I know you're just dealing with a tyrannical madman that really just has his own ideas for something that just really shouldn't be done, and he really needs to be just shot and killed. But that's neither here nor there. Just stay strong, people. Once this is over, it will be over. It's not like you're going to just be...
I mean, I suppose he could just continuously bomb the country until he drives everybody out, right? I don't want to think about the bad things, but I mean, the possibility is like, you know, we've seen a mass exodus of around 3 million people up to this point. He could just literally just continuously bomb until he gets rid of the people he doesn't want in that country and then takes it over people he does want. A scary kind of thought, but a possibility. And in any case, it's be the only way it's over.
While Ukrainians are ousted, and again, I don't mean to be doomsayer or anything, but I guess I am, and that sucks, but still, one way or another, it's going to be over. We will support you no matter where you're at. Hi, peeps! Sorry, that was a down note. Hey, man, I got to fly today! I got to fly! Oh, thank you for... I never thought I'd say this, but thank God daylight savings time cut back on. Cut back on, cut back on. Yeah, dude, I got the chance to fly. I got a Diamond, I got a Banshee, got a couple of 332s out of yet another new variant, and they were rock solid. Be on the lookout. There will be videos. Actually, I think they'll be the first shorts. I got them out there. 2 flights. I mean, they all got more flights than 2, but I just filmed a couple. One of each of the new 332s. Be ready for that. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty hot. It was just nice to fly again for the first time in forever. It's not great. I would say it's probably about like 90%. It's where I got to fly. I took it to a area where like there was no melty snow. The ground was still like, I mean, even our ground is in jeopardy of like unfreezing, which means it's going to be wet. But I kept it out of an area. It was in a truck turnaround cul-de-sac, so it was big. They did land, but like the field, there's a field nearby, and they did land it a couple times. But luckily, didn't spend much time there. Didn't dry out. Each one of them got to partake in it, so it's still very good. They handled it. Came out okay. Like I said, it just felt good to fly. They all did a good job. They all need some tweaking. Not so much. I was going to bring them to showcase them. They are here. They were at work. I did fly them at the Manhart facility. They flew pretty good overall. Again, needed some tweaking. I even got a chance to learn something. I figured out that Banshees do like it, apparently, in this guise. They like it with those fins that I've been putting on Banshees that you've seen me. Like, I'm putting one out here because I do have a Banshee available. I've seen the Banshees have, like, various types before when they have these fins. Apparently, Banshees like it better when these fins are down here as opposed to the way they are up. And I've been trying to get them to accept it while they're up, and they just don't do that. But down here, well, it's a catch, okay? I'm not trying to expand Banshee's flight envelope, but the whole point of it is when they're up here, Banshee goes farther, and I probably shouldn't be doing that. I probably should be letting Banshee stop going as far as it does, so. Didn't get the boom aircraft out there yet, so ND-22, because none of them are at work. They're all here. Don't have that many. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to fly, because chances are you've had weather better than mine. Be sure nice to hear about those. Or see those. Like I said, I've seen Powerhouse. Robert, thank you for the flights. I've seen those. You've extended it, though. I want to point that out just because, like, again, a little bit different than how I envisioned ND-22-1 to go.
I mean, every flight is there to expand. So, if I'm to accept it in my core, though, my version, my little nick of the core, I'm probably not going to have it go long range. I'm going to keep it down in the short to medium like I like it. I'm excited about that 332 because 332 had some really good flights. You'll see it in the videos. I will probably, got the phone right here. We'll probably be trying to post that up here soon after this is recorded, soon after this is shut down, soon after, maybe during it, I don't even know. I'm looking now, though, and I'll see, and I don't want to be distracted because you know how these damn things are. So I'm not going to do that sort of thing, but I am going to prep it. Yeah, I got the flight. That was really cool. But, working on that, though, I just thought it was impressive because, again, finding out new things. Like, I found out that the second example of the ND-22 that went out there, or, I'm sorry, ND-21, it's a 332. Why am I calling it that? Right. The 332s that went out there, one of them just didn't have a problem at all. It was just great job, great flights, great plane. They always need some tweaking. Anytime you deal with something with like a wing, it needs some tweaking, and it's not tapered. Yeah. But the second one that went out there was one that actually the vertical fins were up, and the tails, obviously it's a challenge whenever you've got twin tails. You've got to try to make sure they're at least semi-symmetrical. You don't have to do it so much when you're dealing with something like these. Like Banshee's never going to glide for a long duration, I hope. I don't want it to. I'm not going to try to seek it out. You get how to build on that, you may try, but keep in mind that is not what I intended it for. So, whatever you try. But in any case, I mean, the more stable flight, the more longer flight you're trying to get out of it, you want the twin tails, especially if it's got twin fins. You want them to be as close to straight, close to even as each other as possible. And obviously, the way I built the first one succeeded very well. Obviously, 332 does that on average really well each time it gets built. But this one, however, man, I don't know what happened to the second one. It's not that it didn't come onto its own. It just took me a little bit of tweaking. It just started out, obviously, there was a yaw problem, as there, you would expect out of something that actually has twin fins like that. But I brought it out. It turned out pretty good. Flew great. It flew great. Both of them flew great. Both of them flew in the medium to long. I mean, like a long medium kind of distance. So it's got my wheels turning. It's got my wheels turning. Things are happening. I'm gonna have a show coming on, which I got with all the guys about. I got the crew. I've sent out memos to each and every one of the crew. It's like, I need some logos, people. I need your logos because I got an idea, and in order to run with it, I'm going to need the logos. So, I mean, some of you guys obviously are ready for this. Some of you guys have never thought about working it it might just be as simple of, I didn't think about using the software. Okay, fine, but I need a software so I can play with this because again, that's how I do the news, bro. That's how we do the news. So I've got everybody working that in case they didn't have a logo, or at least putting your logo softwarely, or just sending one to me, because that's all we need. But yeah, I was thinking about that, and the fins are, man, tails are doing so good. I just like the fact that a lot more are getting this, so the possibilities, I thought the possibilities were much greater this way. Happy about that. I'm a little surprised at finding that because I swear I've actually had some Banshees before that actually like the fins up. But it's neither here nor there. Don't really care. I'm just thinking back on it. It's like, no, I mean, truth be told, I don't know what it's been like. I'd have to really fly them off. I don't want to keep getting into more and more tourneys. I got to pit the same plane against each other and figure out, do I like the ups or downs? I mean, it's true. It could be done, but I don't want to I don't need Banshee type. Obviously, Banshee Type 3 is, acceptable, and I knew that, but I just didn't think, well, I liked Type 2 for the longest time just because, well, I liked it. I thought it flew really well. Type 3 is just, it's not exactly a natural progression. I built a Type 3 before I knew I was going to call it a Type 3. It just, there's an intermix set, so, I mean, you'll see Type 2s from time to time. I just the fact that Type 3 just adds that little bit more degree of complexity is what keeps me
that's always what keeps them on board. That's why, like, you know, everything I do, Javelin V1 never gets used anymore. V5 is usually the standard, and there's reasons for that. NASA's would tell you it's like the more complex it is, the better, because it's less a chance to be duplicated, or is it less of a chance to be done by somebody else already. So JV1, yeah, probably been done. JV5, not so much. Type 3 phase, or Type 3 Banshee, not so much. Phase 3, definitely not as much as a Phase 2. A Phase 2, man, everybody's probably got that plane. Hell, I mean, half of the everybody's that had a Phase 2 probably have the Phase 3, so, but that's news for later. It's the little things, it's tweaking them, you know, adding tails, that's just a big bonus, and like, I'm so pleased at the results of the flights of every variation of 332s. I mean, so far, except for that one, the non-starter so far was the one that I made out of notebook paper. I didn't like that. So it seems to like a heavier bond. And I also can't remember if it was a fold or a cut. I have to go back through the ones that I've got so far. But they seem to like enlargements. They seem to like various places. They seem to like various sizes of the fins. And of course the initial phase, why I keep doing it? It's not a phase, it's a stage. But the initial stage of the 332, even the prototype, had the twin fins down. And it pleases me to learn that like with each flight of every one of them, they enjoy the fins down just as much as they enjoy the fins up. So, I mean, I like that especially because fins up is a more realistic look. The Banshee's not going with the program. But the type of fins that like something along the lines of Exile number 16 can use, that's a good, that's always a potential. And then others along those lines, like the hybrid, the Nova Wyvern hybrid that we talk about, or basically it's just a Wyvern hybrid, but yeah, that one, and using that tech. And Abby, you mentioned this before. I gotta say this again, dude. Exile, you know how to build it, and like you call it 16, but understand that 16 is just its number. That is number 16. It's not part of the model name. Exile is typically his model. He has 16 of those. Actually, he's got way more than that. Just so happens that number 16 was the one that did good. So you can build any version of it. Like, A, you know how to build Exile, but B, all you got to do is put those little clips back there, and you have what number 16 has. So you know how to make it. You'll just have to research back to the shows. I would do it, but I got so much work to do on the shows, it ain't funny. Kay is also going to be involved. Been chatting with him, make sure like things are looking up. Expect him on hopefully more of the shows. At least his channel will be launching soon. So there's like all kinds of news. I always ought to do it the other way around. So I'm just stoked that I got to fly, man. It was hyped to get able to fly for a change. Oh man, that was cool. That was cool. And as you all know, like NASA's trying to get his Tourney off the ground with his birds, and I'm obviously looking at the possibility of one myself because this, you know, I mean, like this. And then seeing those fly. I mean, I got so much potential here. My biggest problem is every time I look at my roll sheet, I don't know if you guys do it. Robert, now that you've seen it, maybe you do it. You've actually seen the roll sheet I refer to, but now that I look through it, I wonder, like, how many do I have to, like, all of mine I have to compete. There's so many of them that I have to go against each other. And it's like, there's no one roll that's locked down, because I can pit, like, looking through mine, I can pit Wasp against Tiamat, against Nova, against Cirrus, against Wyvern. And it's like, the medium to long range is just crammed with potential. And I don't know, and 332 is now in that mix. And Novalin, not so much, but it can be. And it's like, the thing about them is it's not, I'm not trying to get one plane to do something else. I'm not like, you build a base model and then tweak it a little bit to cut it down its range or enlarge its range. Or I'm not trying to do that. especially with the ones that I need for the ranges that I've got locked in. I just need them to perform consistently. Because sometimes the tweaks that I tell you about, like, it's not a matter of I added something on or I cut something different or folded something different. It's usually a matter of I just straightened the wing out. And I hate that. It shouldn't be that, what's the word, simple? I mean, it shouldn't be that level that I've got to deal with. Why? I just did the anhedrals, and all of a sudden the plane flies like tremendously. It's supposed to fly like 15 yards, and all of a sudden it goes 35. The reason why I have to go through my aspect of tourneys, to use that term, is just because, like, my planes are, all the tweaking I do, regardless of the tweaking I do, even if I build 10 straight out the gate that look like this and then start forming everything, I'm never going to get 2 the same out of the 10 I just built, even if it's with the same paper and the same folds and they all look just like this. It's not fair. My planes are truly like fingerprint planes. No 2 seem to be the same, as much as I try. After 600 and almost 700 phases, I've gotten used to everybody's flight, but damn sure they like 2 are gonna, I can't like fly them in sync. They won't do the same thing. Never reference the boy bands again. Anyway, so yeah, mine, it's just because of that. My tourney, I call it that. I could call it that. I can call it op eval, a competition. And it's like, it doesn't matter because I would have to bring like 1 plane out. I can't involve 15 of each kind because they're all going to do something different. And while this Banshee might be shorter, this Banshee's longer, and that Novalin's down here, but that Novalin's up here. It just, the distances, I have to go on a basis. And I therefore actually don't usually have too much of an issue with just saying, like, locking a plane in a roll. I don't care. If I lock the plane in a roll, I lock it in a roll. It's like, if I say Cirrus is going to be the control fighter, so be it. Now, if I fly, like, take Wyverns out one day and I fly Cirrus with him, and like, wow, dude, that thing's going to be outstripping it all of a sudden. If I get Wyverns to be control, it's a lot easier. It's harder if you put the fin codes on them and you have as many as we do that you got to switch them out. But also, if you're justified, if it's like, if you don't have this problem. Any one of you out there probably don't have this problem. But if you're in this situation like me, and like NASA's, and maybe POW, and maybe KIA, but if you're in a situation where you fly them and they're like so close, you have to make a judgment call. And like, it might just be, they're close enough, Basically, you kind of got to let that go. You really don't have to like take the flights out, and you don't have to make this to be work. It's not supposed to be work. The fun is in the flight. The fun is in the creation. And you kind of make it work if you go out there and compete. You don't need to do that crap. Just because I've got a Banshee that flies like a short range and I decide to make Goblin the shortest range version. I mean, that's why we have close to short, short to medium, medium to long. It's not... Did I just say that right? Close to short, short to medium, medium to long? Yeah. Yeah, because I did away with close, short, medium, long. I mean, that's 4, but... Again, like, I realize, we can't just expand the roles to fill. So, I mean, looking back on it, I'm still thinking, like, we just talked about the point defense from a while back that I can fill in with Valkyrie, but chances are it's going to go straight to the damn reserves because it's like, point defense? Seriously? Even when I had my point defense fighter, which I did away with, like, 20 years ago, still a reserve plane, because, like, really, you need that crap? I guess you kind of do. And in a way, you kind of do. I always thought, like, point defense / air defense, same kind of thing, is, like, something you need, like, okay, Javelin, an interceptor obviously covers a whole bunch of things, and it's usually in, like, not in how hard you throw it, but sometimes, if you really do build a plane, which is like a brick with some wings, so, like, no matter how hard you throw it, it's just going to go out there. But, like, if you do throw it lighter because you want it to go a short range, it literally just flutters to the ground because it's so damn heavy it can't even glide. It's depending upon the thrust to get some glide. That's where I see that point defense thing. It's like, okay, it's still a straight line plane. It's still something that can intercept something. It's just a really short range version of it. Therefore, you don't have to throw it as hard, and it will still glide to the destination. That's like the truest definition, I think, of a point defense. And, yeah, I don't think it's needed. It's extraneous, but just fun to have. And that's getting in depth, but I'm just trying to get you the endpoints of, like, see why it is we deal with, like, such problems with
having to do tourneys and competitions and stuff in opivals, as I called it before. But you don't really have to do that. You can be perfectly happy with your setup just as long as you know which role a plane is locked into. In IVPAC, I want to really stress that. This is mostly for IVPAC members. I don't want to make it like work. I just want to make it like fun. I mean, you're already having the fun. I'm just adding something to it. You obviously not pressed to be a member, but like I thought military kind of thing. Like we get up, fly together. We have little fin codes. It's kind of cool. But hey, each your own. All I'm saying is, don't make it like work. You make it like work, you'll blank yourself right out of it. So you don't want to do that. So like, don't get too involved in something like a tourney. Just pick a plane and park it. I mean, if you know it's long range, you know it's long range. You'll be able to tell. I mean, sure, you might have a short to medium competition, but you can still park one. I mean, and again, like, it's like, I don't know. I'm going to use NASA as an example because he's got to run through his tourney. But I mean, if you've got like Vortex, if you've got Viper, you've got Raptor, and they all fly about the same distance, park one. And if you're worried about the aid, that's the thing is, like, you could always tell, like, well, I was kind of young when I developed it. This looks kind of basic. I'm going to throw this in the reserves. You still want to work with it. That's what we have all this for. It's like you don't need to figure out the roles. I mean, it's fun to have the competition. If it's fun for you to do so, do so. But if it's not, you don't need to worry about it. You could just say, like, screw it. It's like, this one's shorter range than the other one. Maybe some flights later I'll figure out it's longer range, and then maybe I'll do it. But for right now, it's my short range plane. I mean, screw it. I don't want to take the fun out of it. I don't want to be too much like work. And we have other options. It's like if you think your plane's too old, if you think it's too basic, you retire it. If you think it's not basic enough, like I think a good version of his would be Vortex because he's changed the way Vortex has come so far that like he liked it obviously having it initially. There was a period where he just didn't like it and was trying to get rid of it. But then he thought of a new way to do it. Now he likes it again. That's a great plane to put in the reserves. Because it's still elderly. I think it's his oldest plane. But it's got a new life because it's got a new type on it. It's like a Vortex 2, if you will, you know. So, you don't need a tourney. Just stick that puppy in the reserves. That way you can still build it, you can still fly it, still work on it, but you're not really, like, concentrating on it so much. But you have it. It's your design. I understand you don't want to get rid of it. Believe it or not, it may not seem like it, but I want to get rid of Javelin. And ironically enough, it's really easy to do. It's just every time I build what I think would be the great interceptor for it, I'm like, I feel like this has been done before. I mean, with paper folding, man, it's obvious it probably is done before. I'm a tweaker though, so I add stuff to it, and I'm fairly safe knowing that, like, man, even if it's done before, I wonder if somebody tweaked it the way I did. And again, that's a whole nother argument of how you build your planes. Is you can get into, like, what was the intention? You're building it like, blah, 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 blah. My intention was to duplicate somebody else's plane and then tweak it to death so it doesn't look anything like theirs, and then I've got my own. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't care. We don't care. We used to be really strict about that. Now we just don't give a crap. But that's the point. I'm not trying to take the fun away. We're not trying to stifle creative ideas. Why do you think there's so many roles? You're trying to make more and more ideas. But that I digress. That's not the point. The point, just like, tourneys are great. Obviously, we're about to start one here in the U.S. It's like the basketball tourney, the college basketball tourney is gearing up. I'm gonna have to get ready for that too. Always fun to try to get those brackets right in the big dance, and I'm planning on doing my 20 or 30 this year and screwing them all up, or having some. Actually, the proper term here is having some team screw them all up. Like watch. I don't know, but for example, if you know about this, Duke, primary example. Everybody hates Duke except people around Duke. I mean, the only reason you like Duke is because you're one of those tag-along bandwagoners like, well, they win all the time. I guess I like them. I don't respect anybody that's like that. Because you people, for lack of a better term, you people suck. Why don't you have a mind of your own to pick a team and actually just pick a team, stick with it? But in any case, Duke, primary example, like, they're in this, I think they're number 2 seed in their bracket, and it's like, everybody's expecting them to probably go a long way because A, it's Duke, and B, it's Coach K's final year, so it's like, they got like some emotion behind them. They're probably going to win this for Coach K. This would be a great time. This would be a great time for them to bust all kinds of brackets because of that and get blown out in the first week. That first game. I mean, it's happened before, obviously, and happened more recently. Number 2 seed versus number 15 seed, and number 15 said, nope, we're better, we're going to win. This would be a primary example of that. This is a great, because like 98.3% of people picking the damn team. It'd be great to have the bracket busted by some low dog that like nobody expected for obvious reasons. And again, like, if we've learned anything, especially from the past decade in the college basketball, you cannot depend on just about any seed now. Although I still think that 1 versus 16 is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. I mean, I understand you want to get rid of the little guys fast because, I mean, you claim you don't, but you do, obviously, because you put the worst against the first. Why don't you pit number 1 against number 9 and number 8 against number 16? So it's a little bit more fair. So there's a possibility some teams could go farther. They obviously did good. They got invited. But you're like, nah, put the worst in there against the first. That way we can get rid of them real quick. That don't make no damn sense. Especially because most times, and again, you could argue the fact because we dealt with the ones that are recent, you know, like, what was it last year? Loyola Chicago? Didn't they just like upset Illinois or something like that? First round, they were the 15th seed. But I digress. I'm still saying it's like, dude, why? You know, you're not making anybody. You're making one dude in Vegas like have a shit ton of money, while the rest of everybody's like, God damn it! But that's the whole thing. You know, you can't. Why is number 15 facing number 2? Why is somebody from like a division they don't? You're playing divisional teams that you don't even see on the regular. It's like, I get it. Everybody should have their fair chance, but you don't have a fair chance. Hence why somebody like Murray State could go like 30-1 and still be stuck in 20th place. Dude, you got 1 loss. Why ain't you at the top? Even the top team don't got 1 loss. That's not the truth this year. I'm just saying this happens. This has happened. And it's like, well, because they call them quality wins against quality people. Well, again, then the quality of the people that they play to get into the damn tournament shouldn't matter when they come up against, like, you're 30-1, but you've only been playing in the Ivy League, so you're only going to be put in, like, number 12 spot. But you're going to be playing an SEC team. You know, like, dude, where's the logic in that crap? I don't know. I've always hated it, and college has become so greedy, it's, like, really stupid. I mean, like, I'm not talking about to pay the players. I'm talking about the fact that, like, first it was 64 teams because apparently it wasn't big enough before. But now we got to have playing games to give even more teams a possibility to get in there. I mean, pretty soon there's going to be a play-in game for every part of the bracket because, dude, it's just not fair unless half the fucking teams make it into a playoff. Why the hell do you think there's so many damn bowls? Like, no, we need the money. We need an extra bowl. We need more games. More games. Yeah, sure. Let's have a playoff. What the fuck was wrong with the way it was done, like, up until this point? Greed. I hate what America's become, man. Dude, shit like that, just so wrong. But anyway, I digress. Tourneys, man. Like, just find your hole for your planes, find your niche, get your planes out there, and fly them. You know, enjoy yourselves, enjoy your planes. But, you know, we're always talking about how you should, like, figure out who's better and like replace ones that are old, and it's the way of things. But not necessarily, you don't really have to do that. You can just have fun with the ones you have, just so long as basically you're just like, you know, bettering yourselves and bettering your designs and